Lisa.
I'm Keith. And we're
We're
the
the
Joneses.
Joneses. So Keith and I just thought we would come and wish you a very Merry Christmas. Um, he's so silly. Oh my gosh, I love him. I love you.
Love you
Um,
too.
so we can't just come though. We have to, like give you a thought, something to think about. And so I was like, okay, what can I talk about? And I came up with this thought of the poor king. So I want to read to you.
What is the poor king?
I'm gonna tell you.
Yes.
Okay. So you made me lose my train of thought. Luke chapter 2. And I'm gonna start at verse 4. I'm gonna read verses 4 through 7. So Joseph also went up from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to Bethlehem, the town of David, because he belonged to the house and line of David. He went there to register with Mary, who was pledged to be married to him and was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for the baby to be born, and she gave birth to her firstborn, a son. She wrapped him in clothes and placed him in a manger because there was no guest room available for them. So, I was like, okay, what does that mean? So I believe there are two reasons why.
3.
You think it's 3?
Yes.
Okay, you're going to tell us the third. Let me do the first 2 and then you can close out with the third one.
Yes.
Okay. So my 2. The first one is because everybody was coming into Bethlehem to register their family. So it was just packed with people because everybody was there to do their civic duty. So that increased the number of people that were in the town to begin with. That's the first reason. The second reason, I believe, and this is, I have no way of knowing this except my own thoughts and interpretation of scripture. I believe they were poor. I believe there was no room for them because they couldn't find a place they could afford to stay in. I really think that's why there was no place for them. And so they ended up having their firstborn in a barn, in the stable. The manger is where you put food for animals to eat out of. It's like a trough on stilts, so to speak. And so I think it's really interesting that Jesus left his throne, left his existence as the king, the heir, to come to earth as a poor husband and wife's son. Joseph was a carpenter, which is not, he didn't make a lot of money, and so Jesus didn't come from wealth. He came from hard work. He came from very meager beginnings. He came from menial labor. We're talking minimum wage. That's what he was born into after vacating the throne. And so that's what I mean about when I say the poor king. So before I close that out, what's the third reason you think he came?
The third reason
That he was born in the manger, I should say.
Third reason that he was born in the manger was to fulfill prophecy in accordance to the Old Testament.
That's true. That is true. I don't remember exactly where that is, but that is true. And we know that there are a boatload of prophecies that don't ask me how many, but there are a lot of prophecies that Jesus's birth fulfilled, and that's a part of why he is the Messiah, because he fulfilled every single one of them. Every single one. So I just want to take his story as we celebrate his birth today and transcribe it onto our financial story, regardless of where we started, regardless of where we find ourselves today. Wealth is available to us when we choose to have a life that is filled with the Lord and all that he has given. I have this saying I tell people all the time. Jesus said the poor will always be among us. That's in the Beatitudes, but he didn't say it needed to be us. So let me say that again. Jesus said the poor will always be among us, but he did not say that it needed to be us. And so Keith and I talk often about being debt free in our minds long before we were debt free on paper. And that's because we let go of what we call the spirit
The spirit of lack.
the spirit of lack. And so that's that poor mentality that many people have. And you can have money and still have a poor mentality. We actually know people who have way more money than most of us. And they just blow it because they have a poor mentality. So, as we close out this Christmas message to you today, we just want to encourage you to be mindful that Jesus was a poor king, which gives us all the incentive in the world that we need because we are following in his footsteps. And then also to not succumb to the spirit of lack. So, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.